Hey guys, Austin back again with another long play video. This is actually my second long play, and I got some pretty good feedback on my first one with the Super Castlevania 4 long play, and I kind of had the itch to do another one. So with that, I give you Doom for the 32X, and I'm just setting things up, and we're going to go ahead and play it on Ultra Violence. I actually attempted to do this on Nightmare, and I got my ass handed to me big time, and was not exactly a fun experience trying to do it over and over. But yeah. So yeah, I managed to beat this without dying. It takes me about an hour and 20 or 30 minutes, something like that. It wasn't too difficult. I think there were a couple close calls, but all in all, I had, you know, almost full health the majority of the way through. I got close to running out of ammo a few times, but that's because I wasn't taking the time to find all the secrets and so forth. YouTube has a 2 GB upload limit, and with my Castlevania 4 long play, it came out to being about 1.7 gigabytes, and that was about an hour and I think 17-minute long video. And I don't want to sacrifice video quality, so I tried running through the game as quickly as I could. I did get caught up in some secrets here and there. I just couldn't help myself. But for the most part, I just try to blaze through the game. I don't try to find every single secret in the game. I just want to get through the game so you guys can see every level, see the true ending, in the very, very final stage that you only get if you beat the game straight through without cheating from levels 1 through 15. So I do manage to do that, but if it turns out that this video is too large, I'll either dumb down the video quality, which I really don't want to do, or I'll chop out a snippet, maybe like on the second or third level, levels that most people have probably already seen in this version. So, but yeah, if that happens, I'll actually you'll see the screen cut out with like a little intermission or something. Notice, just letting you know that I had to chop it up a little bit. But I don't think it's gonna have to happen, but we'll see. Yeah, we're on level 2 already. And again, there's 15 stages with 1 hidden level and 1 final stage, like I said, that you only get if you beat the game straight through without cheats. And so 17 levels total. And for this kind of first half of the game, I'm still kind of trying to get used to it again. The 32X version of Doom, it's excuse me, it's not the easiest to play. It's nice playing it with the Sega Genesis 6-button pad, but due to the slightly sluggish frame rate, and it can be a little hard to aim sometimes, and it's a little hard to be totally precise sometimes as well. And but I still manage pretty well. But my aim is definitely not nearly as good as it is on a PC with a keyboard and mouse, or other versions of Doom that had shoulder strafing, like the 3DO version, the PlayStation version, and the Saturn versions. And of course the modern Xbox 360 port of Ultimate Doom and Doom 2. But the 32X one is still a fun game. I still enjoy playing this one, and for you guys that have also watched my gameplay and talk on this, you guys already kind of know my sentiments towards the game. But for you guys that haven't, you can either check out that video, or or yeah, I don't even know where I'm going with this. But oh, I guess what I was saying was I do enjoy playing this version, despite the sort of sluggish frame rate sometimes. Sometimes it runs really brisk, other times it can slow down for a little bit and kind of get in the way of your aiming and so forth. And the lack of you know, shoulder buttons for strafing left and right also makes it a little more difficult to play quickly and aggressively. but nonetheless, it's still a fun game. And so yeah, going through a few secrets just to pick up some weapons, like the chainsaw back there. There's another secret up here that I'm sure most of you guys know about, most of you that have played this game, but there's a backpack in it, which is good to grab early on in the game because you get to max out your ammo sooner. It's not all that necessary when you're playing on Ultra Violence or any lesser difficulty, but when you play this game on Nightmare, you definitely got to get all the ammunition you can because the enemies are a lot more difficult than they are on this mode. And Ultra Violence is still a fairly difficult mode. Well, not for me, because I played Doom so much. I mean, Doom is one of my most played games of all time. But for people that may not be as used to it, Ultra Violence is still quite a difficult mode. But Nightmare in this version is just... it's pretty tough. The enemies deal a ton of damage. They seem to always hit you. Almost always hit you. Especially the guys that shoot just, you know, bullets. Pretty much bullets that you can't see. The fireball guys, their fireballs go a lot faster, but you can still dodge them. But guys that like just the regular mutants and the shotgun mutants, they're quite difficult in this one. Particularly when you get to a screen like right here on Nightmare is really difficult. The second you open that door, you're being hit by guys, even though you can't even really see them. So yeah, again, I actually originally tried doing this on Nightmare mode, and I got to this level, and I died. And that was actually the first time. The second time I got to level 5 or 6, and I died. So I was like, screw this. I'm going to break my controller if I keep trying to do this. I'm just going to do Ultra Violence. But that was actually a couple days before doing this playthrough right here. I had to give myself a break. After dying a few times on Nightmare mode, I was like, yeah, I've had enough. I went and watched a movie, went to sleep, and went to work. But yeah, I gave it a few days rest, and then I decided to do it again, but on Ultra Violence, which is what we're watching here. Even though it is Ultra Violence, I'm still pretty careful in this game. In this playthrough anyways. You'll see me kind of just poking around corners and picking guys off from a distance, kind of like Wolfenstein 3D style. And when there's a big group of enemies like that right there, I try to go for the shotgunners first, because they can hit me and I can't really dodge them. I can't really dodge them, period. If they're in my sight, or if I'm in their sight, they can hit me, and you know, no matter how I'm dodging. So but guys like the Pinky Demons and the Imps up there, not too difficult, so I don't worry about them immediately. If there is a Pinky Demon and some shotgunners or some just the regular mutants, I I try to line the Pinky Demon up with the gunners. That way, if I kill the Pinky Demon with a shotgun blast, usually that hit will go through him as well as killing him and kill the mutant behind him as well. And it's a good habit to get into when you're playing this game if you want to try to survive, because with the shotgun you can take down 3 or 4 enemies at once if they're just basic humans. Sometimes you could take down 2 imps at once. I'm not sure if I do that in this version, but I know in the PC version you can, if you're lucky. But again, sometimes on the last hit for the Pinky Demons, if someone is behind him, you'll also hit them, because the bullets will just go through, which is pretty sweet. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm trying to get the secret here, just waiting for the walls to go back up. To the left, and to the right, and to the left. You get the Mega Health up here. I don't think it's called Mega Health in this, but or maybe it is. I don't remember. I honestly don't know half the item names anymore. But basically, that blue sphere gives you 100 health. and it takes you over your 100 health limit, so you can go up to 200 health. Here's the rocket launcher. I quickly switch. I often have the the habit of it auto-switching to the rocket launcher and then me firing it against the wall and blowing myself up, so whenever I grab the rocket launcher and it auto-switches, I automatically switch it to another weapon, just to be safe. The one secret level in this game you can actually access through here, which basically where the rocket launcher was back there was how you activated this area. So you can see right there is a little slow, little sluggish. And here's some rockets up here. Now this bonus stage is actually kind of interesting because, or at least in this version, because I think it's the only one where the sky is red. It might be in the PlayStation version as well, but in this one the sky is red, but I believe in all the other versions, including the Jaguar one, the sky is just like it is in the first few levels in this game. Just a bright sky. Also, this track right here is to the stage Phobos Anomaly. I think that's what it's called anyways. It's the first level you get to where you fight two Barons of Hell at once. And the track that's normally played on this stage is played on a different level in this game. This level can be a little tricky. Sometimes it's better to just, you know, pick one hallway, go down it, you know, kill everything, and then go back and go to another hallway. But I kind of just bounce all over the place in this one, and it kind of bites back at me because if you don't kill everyone in a certain area, they're gonna walk up the stairs to the central area, and you might roll up one moment and they'll be shooting at you unexpectedly. So now, in other versions of Doom, when you walk onto the pentagram right there, enemies actually teleport in onto it. But in this version, the door in the background just races up. And I think that's the same way in the Jaguar version as well. Enemies don't teleport in, the door just raises. I think. I don't remember. It's been about 1.5 years since I played the Jaguar version. But that's a fantastic version. This one's actually based on the Jaguar version. It's based on the same code. So a lot of level designs are, you know, pretty much identical. With maybe some texture swaps here and there just for, you know, memory's sake. For the sake of the system memory. But, general level design and tricks and traps are all basically this identical between both versions, except that the Jaguar version does have quite a few more stages. I think it has 23 or 24 total. Control-wise, between both versions, I'd have to go with the Jaguar version. I do love the Sega Genesis 6-button pad. It's one of actually one of my favorite controllers out there. And but the Jaguar version has the number pad, and there's some situations you get into in this game where you get cornered, and you gotta scroll through your weapons, and that's a little more time-consuming than it needs to be when you're stuck in a corner and you're low in health. In the Jaguar version, you have the number keypad on the controller, and you can just switch right to whatever weapon you want. So say I got the rocket launcher in hand, I want to switch right to the chain gun, I just hit 4 on the control pad. Whereas this one, you gotta scroll through. I don't remember how you scroll through with the 3-button controller on this. But I know that on the 6-button you tap X and Y to scroll up and down your weapons. You'll see me doing some switching later on in the game. I get a little bit better of a handle on it, but it's still kind of cumbersome compared to playing it on the Jaguar, where you can just push one key and go right to the weapon that you want, much like the PC version. And this next part up here is always a bit of a pain in the ass, because you actually have to drop down into that acid pit, and but you don't have a biosuit. Usually in this game they give you a biosuit whenever you have to go to an area like that. Whenever they force you to walk across acid, there's usually a biosuit somewhere hidden, usually. Yeah, not in this level. Or if there is, it's in a secret I have not gotten to. I know I haven't found every secret in this level, so it's possible there might be a biosuit somewhere, but I've always done this part without one. But there are a couple imps down there, and you can see I get a good chunk of my life taken off. 2 of them I think pop out here, but once you go through that door again, there's a couple more. So in hindsight, I probably could have just gone back to that regular platform and stood on there and waited for them to come at me, but I don't usually ever think that far ahead when I'm playing this game. Maybe I should start thinking a little bit more when I play Doom. Alright, we're at level 4. A little less than a quarter of a way through the game. As you can see again, I'm just kind of poking my head around the corner. You also notice I try to go for the barrels a lot. Whenever you see a barrel on screen, I usually try to shoot it right away. Sometimes there are enemies surrounding them, and rather than shooting out 5 bullets to kill, you know, the enemies, it's better to just hit the barrel first, try to kill, you know, 2 or 3 enemies with 1 shot, basically. Especially on this part right here. Yep. There's some blue armor in the distance. Blue armor gives you 200 armor. So it's obviously good to know where those are. Armor doesn't help you nearly as much in this game as it does in games like Quake. In Quake, getting the 200 armor is really good. But or is it 150 armor? I don't remember. It's been a while since I played Quake 2. But yeah, getting the armor in the original Quake anyways is very, very good. But in this one, not nearly as much. It's not as useful, but it's still good to have it. It's still good to have it. Enemies will do slightly less damage when you have a lot of armor. So there's actually an enemy stuck in that wall right there. That's also the case with the Jaguar version. So if you shoot a rocket at that wall, you'll hear them explode, which you probably just did. Now this part I just kind of blaze right through. I don't feel like exploring it. Like I said, I'm trying to get through this as quickly as I can, so all you have to do is just take a quick right turn, go straight down that long hallway. It'll take you to the yellow key, which I thought I picked up, but apparently not. I try to open this door, and it says I don't have the key. But it's okay, because it's just right back around the corner. There we go. I saw a light indicator pop up when I thought I grabbed it, but it was probably just me picking up an item that was right next to it. Quite a few other secrets I missed here, and a couple areas I missed, but I decided to exit instead to save a little bit of time. Yeah, just so you guys know, I'm not actually playing this right now. This is pre-recorded material. I'm actually doing a voiceover on top, so I actually just did this recording though, and so this is all still fresh in my mind. I still remember exactly all the movements I did, so I can sort of predict them as they come up because I just did it about an hour ago. There's a secret right there. You'll notice that I use the shotgun a lot in this game, and really the shotgun is one of the best weapons in this game. And part of the reason is that it's pretty accurate from a long distance, and there are so many shotgun guys in this game and shells laying around. It's really hard to run out of shotgun ammo. It's not till the later stages in the game when you want to start mixing your game up a little bit more, because there's less ammo strewn about, or at least less ammo in the open. Again, like I said, there's a lot of secrets I miss because I really don't put any effort into finding them, so any potential ammo I could be finding I don't, because I'm sort of rushing through the game. So playing like that, getting later on into the game, it's you will start running out a little bit, and it's better to use your other weapons like your plasma gun or your rocket launcher, things like that. First half of the game though, I just save all that stuff. There's not really any point in using it. Shotgun is just really good. It's powerful, it's accurate, lots of ammo is dropped for it, so you're always refreshing your ammo, replenishing your ammo. See, I decided that my next long play is going to be a short game. I mean, these games are short by today's standards. I mean, Super Castlevania 4 and Doom here, you can run through in about an hour and a half tops. Yeah, still I have to play it for an hour and a half and then go back and do the commentary on top of it. So I'm gonna just do something like Ninja Gaiden next time, something that I can roll through in about 10 minutes. But should still be entertaining if you guys haven't seen the whole game or seen someone roll through it. But now this part I don't get right here. That pentagram right there, in other versions when you walk into it, it teleports you. But in this one, it doesn't do that. I don't quite understand why they didn't program some of those parts in, but no big deal, I guess. The game is still fun, and I guess that's all that counts. Or all that matters, I mean. I actually think playing this game with a joystick would probably be a good idea. Because by default, your run button is A, and your strafe button is C. So, if you want to strafe quickly left and right while still running, which is actually pretty ideal later on when you have to fight cacodemons in short, close spaces, you have to stretch your hand out so you can strafe quickly while still firing. So, playing this with a joystick would actually probably be pretty interesting. You'd probably be able to control it actually a little bit better. And I might actually want to try that sometime in the future. I'll have to track down a Sega Genesis arcade stick though, first. Get the official Sega one. If you guys want to see the Jaguar version, sort of like side-by-side comparison, go check out my gameplay and talk of that version. It was actually the first video I ever did for YouTube, or at least the first gaming video I ever did for YouTube. And when the Jaguar version starts off, it demos this exact level in this exact area, so you can see how similar the two games are. But the Jaguar version is full screen, it looks better. The sound is a little bit clearer, a little bit crisper. There is no music though in the Jaguar version, at least not during the game, which is a bummer, but everything else is a good bit better than this one. Don't get me wrong, this is still a very capable version of Doom. I think it was probably rushed a little bit, because Sega kind of surprise announced the 32X in the summer of '94, I believe, and I bet you development on this game didn't start a whole lot longer, because after the 32X was announced, it was available just a couple months later. It was pretty crazy, and so. I don't even know where I was going with that. I just it just went brain dead. Great. 32X version. I mean, it's a fun game. It's still Doom, and it's just lacking in a lot of stages that were in other versions, like the Jaguar version. What's funny is there's actually a hack available out there where someone has managed to add in the extra Jaguar levels to the 32X version of Doom, and you can actually, I think with the ROM image of this game, you can extract the WAD files and do this and that with it, apply the patch, and then recompile it as a ROM or binary file, which emulators can read. And then you can have this version with all the stages from the Jaguar game, which is like I said, 23 or 24. So, it wasn't an issue of, at least from what I could tell, it wasn't an issue of the system not being able to do it. I just think it was an issue of those guys not having enough time to bring it all over. Sega was probably like, come on guys, we gotta get this out. You know, Doom was really like a flagship title for the 32X. And, I guess that's what I was trying to get at with that. But, I don't even know if I'm making any sense. I'm kind of tired. I know I said that in my Castlevania 4 video, but that's, you know, still the case with this video. I worked the graveyard shift, and it's about 1 p.m. right now as I record this, and I worked all night last night, and when I got home at around 8 o'clock in the morning, I didn't go to bed. So, actually I had a management meeting, call-in that I had to do for about 2 hours, so around 10 o'clock I got off that, decided to start recording the gameplay footage for this video. Took a short break after that, and then decided I'd go ahead and do the commentary as well, which I wasn't actually planning on doing the commentary, but I was just kind of like, fuck it. So, here we go. Probably not the most coherent right now, not always making a whole lot of sense, but yeah, I've been up for quite a while, so I'll probably be heading to bed shortly after finishing up this commentary, but it looks like I've got about, I don't know, probably another 60 minutes to go, so let's see how I handle. And this part right here, you always want to be prepared. The second you flip that switch, all these guys come out. And in other versions of Doom, there are actually more enemies, and they can be pretty challenging. This is always a part where I get a lot of life taken off of me. But this one, it doesn't seem that bad. Nightmare mode is probably more difficult. A lot more difficult. But, I do manage it pretty well in this mode, Ultra Violence. I'm just kind of skipping through the stat screens. I'm just trying to bolt through the game as quickly as I can. And it's not like my stats really matter, because I'm not trying to go for 100% or anything like that, so it would actually just be kind of a waste of time for me to sit at the stats screen. I think I get blasted right here, and I actually thought I was gonna die. Fortunately I don't, because if I did, I probably wouldn't have made this video again. I probably would have been like, screw this, I'm done. Wasted so much time on this. You're probably saying, you know, what's the big deal if you die? Just start over and keep playing, right? But I don't know, me, when I do these videos, I kind of want to not die. I want to try to get through the game without dying, or dying very minimally in, say, a platforming game. But this game, when you die, you gotta do the whole level all over again, and I don't think anyone wants to watch me play the whole stage again after watching it once. So, you know, all the takes I did on this game, if I died, I would start over. Which again, this was, I believe, my third take total. Again, the first two takes were on Nightmare mode, so a few days prior to this one. Now that wall to your right, that sort of room you can go up to with that elevator, in other versions, there's actually a hole, or alongside, or that. Man, I am freaking not making any sense again. Never mind, I'm just gonna skip explaining that part. I think going up through this area, I grabbed the blue key. No, the red key. Red key. Blue key is the last key you get in this one. This level. But One thing I find kind of interesting about this version of Doom is early on in the game, the lighting effects aren't really anything special, and there really aren't a whole lot of lighting effects, honestly. You could see, like, up there the lights are, you know, flashing bright and then dim, but later on in the game, it seems you get to really dark rooms a lot more than you do early on in the game. So, but in versions like, I think, like the Jaguar version and PlayStation version, stuff like that, the dark areas appear much more frequently earlier on in the game. Now this platform right here is supposed to raise when you get on it, and I sit on it waiting for it to go up and it just doesn't. And the second I step off of it, it goes up just like that. And as it's going up, you're supposed to fall off one of the sides of the edge into the acid, and you'll find a biosuit, and then you'll also find a super health, which actually I just passed on the left. Supercharge, mega health, whatever you want to call it. And there's the blue key. So we go back, I think, through the red door. Oh, yellow door. Nope. Yeah. Let's actually grab this. We're gonna grab this secret first because there's also another mega health back there, as well as some enemies to kill. As well as some more ammunition from dudes I already killed. I just shot the barrel, destroyed probably 4 or 5 enemies at once. This is always a good thing. Alright, stage 8. Alright, here we go. This is technically the first boss stage, quote unquote. In every other version of Doom, you fight the Barons of Hell here. And they're really the first big enemies that you fight. In this version of Doom, they're the only big enemies you fight. I mean, you got the Cacodemons, and a couple more stages. Actually, the next stage. But they're nothing compared to the Barons of Hell. The Barons of Hell take a lot more hits with your shotgun. So what I try to do is just save my rockets for the most part, and have those to kill the Barons of Hell later on in the game. Of course, I decide to waste none of my rockets right here on enemies I don't really need to waste them on. Now it's good to try to run off those stairs sometimes. Sometimes the auto-aim in this game is a little finicky, and sometimes it won't auto-aim. And since you're on those stairs, the rocket will hit the stairs and deal you a lot of blast damage. So I suggest, if you don't want to blow yourself up on that sort of boss area, just run off to the side, get far back, and then shoot your rockets. If you sit inside that upside down cross, inverted cross, it'll do damage to you. So you want to try to roll through that as quickly as you can. I actually got stuck on it for a moment. The 32X version of Doom, with those very, very tiny hallways that can only fit one person, you tend to get stuck, which is kind of odd. And you'll see that a couple stages in from here. Actually, you may even see it again. I have to track back through there so I can go get the plasma gun. Red key. Now we're gonna go ahead and go back. I think. Are we? Oh yeah, I try to flip those switches again. In the other versions of Doom, both switches can be flipped independently, I believe. But in this version, when you flip one, they both get flipped up. So I don't know if one was disabled in this one or what the deal is. But there's your first Cacodemon. Awesome plasma rifle. Doesn't shoot as quickly as it does in the PC version, but it's still just as useful as it was before. By far one of the best weapons in Doom, if not the best weapon. Well, the BFG was by far the best weapon, but that's actually not in this version. Yep, they cut that weapon out. Just like they also cut out the Cyber Demon and the Spider Mastermind bosses. So, no longer do you have those awesome bosses, which you don't have the BFG. But I guess at least you still have the rocket launcher, which is awesome, and the plasma gun, which is awesome too. And useful. The BFG wasn't necessarily useful, per se, unless you were using it on, like, a Cyber Demon, because it used so much ammo, and when you wanted it to clear out a large room of enemies, the ammo trade-off wasn't always worth it, so I always ended up personally using the plasma pistol instead, or the plasma rifle, over the BFG. But the BFG is still a badass weapon nonetheless, for obvious reasons. It's just pretty damn cool. There's another Cacodemon. Now these guys actually shoot really quick in this version. Faster than they do in any other version of Doom, at least on this difficulty mode. And right here I get pummeled a few times by one. And this is where you would want to raise your hands up so you can press all three buttons at once, so you can run and strafe left and right and fire all at the same time. Which I actually do that in another instance a couple levels in, where I get caught up with another Cacodemon in a very narrow hallway, so... Here's the Berserker. This, the Berserker is actually, or Adrenaline, whatever you want to call it. I think it's Berserk in this one. It's, littered quite a bit in these later stages for some odd reason. And, for you guys that don't know, when you grab it, the screen goes red, and your fists do a hell of a lot more damage permanently until the end of the stage. There was always some confusion with it in the PC version of Doom, as well as I believe the Super Nintendo version of Doom. Possibly other versions like the PlayStation. Actually in the Jaguar version too. I think actually this might be the only version where when you grab it, the screen blinks red and then it disappears right away. But in other versions, the screen stays red for like a minute. And people used to think that when the screen went back to normal, the Berserker power was gone. But in reality, it actually sticks with you for the entire stage. So it's a good alternative to using your chainsaw. It's actually more powerful than the chainsaw. I mean, sometimes you can actually kill the Pinky Demons in one hit. I think it's kind of randomized. Sometimes it takes 2 hits, sometimes it takes 1 hit, sometimes it takes 3 hits by accident. I don't know why, but quite a few times you can roll through them and just pound them down in 1 hit with your fists, which is pretty funny. pretty useful too. It's definitely not safe like the chainsaw is, though. Yeah, pretty much the chainsaw attacks so quickly that enemies like the Pinky Demons and the Cacodemons, they can't hit you, or they probably 98% of the time they won't be able to do anything. In the case of like the Cacodemons, they won't be able to shoot at you because you're doing so many hits in rapid succession with the chainsaw, which is pretty awesome. You'll see me nailing something in a little bit with the chainsaw. Primarily because I'm trying to conserve ammunition for the later parts of the game. And just to have fun. I figure that since I don't really use the chainsaw early on in the game, I might as well show you guys some, or do some kills with it, just for the sake of your entertainment. I think I'm going back here looking for shells, and I don't manage to find anything, and I don't really feel like exploring the rest of the stage again, so I end up just rolling right back to the exit. This is actually kind of wearing on my eyes. Not just because I'm tired, but because you guys can't see it. But I'm using this really awkward mic stand right now, and with actually an equally awkward mic. And I have a pop filter in front of it, and the stand doesn't go down low though, and I'm sitting in my chair, and the mic is actually even with my face when I'm sitting in the chair, and the pop filter is covering the mic. So I'm actually watching this footage as I'm talking through the pop filter screen. So there's this grainy overlay on top of what I'm watching, and it's really wearing on my eyes. And every time I look to the side to look at the monitor and get the actual picture of the game without the screen covering it up, it's much easier in my eyes. But I can't talk at the same time if I move my head out of the way. Otherwise, the audio won't get picked up properly, or I'll be faded in the background. So. There's the Lost Souls. They're actually not bad in this version at all. They usually take one shot with the shotgun. In other versions of Doom, they can sometimes take one shot, but they usually take two shots. So fortunately, they're not nearly as annoying in this version, nor are there nearly as many of them as there usually are in other ports of Doom. Which is actually a great thing in my opinion. Those enemies are so annoying. They're not really hard, but there's always a lot of them. You just feel like you're wasting your ammo on them. There they are. Man. I actually drank a Diet Coke right as I started doing this audio voiceover. Thought it would wake me up a little bit, but it's actually, I think, making things worse. What's funny is that I bet you when I try to go to sleep, I'm not going to be able to fall asleep, despite feeling really drowsy right now. Here we go, some more of the darker lighting effects, like I said. Actually, it's a lot brighter here in the video than it was actually when I was playing the game. I wonder if my TV's darker, darker a little bit, or darker than this feed. So it seemed really, really dark when I was playing it, and the only thing that really stood out were the enemies. But everything looked pitch black when I was actually playing it. I think there's a mega health up here. Yep. Here's the Cacodeme, and this is where I actually put all three fingers on the controller. You can see me running a lot quicker now. Because those guys are just really, really quick in this version. And it's just on ultra violence. Like that speed that they're moving at, I would expect them to move at on Nightmare, but not ultra violence. Alright, we're getting pretty close to the end of the game now. We're at least 2/3 through the game. And the 32X version of Doom is the shortest version of Doom available. Which can be a good or a bad thing. I kind of like it because I can run through it in a sitting. It doesn't take as much time as, say, the Jaguar version, or say the PlayStation or Saturn versions. But it does kind of still suck at the same time, because there are times where I would like to play all the other stages. So it's kind of like a win-lose scenario. This Cacodeme, he actually flies above, which is kind of interesting. I haven't seen him do that before in this version. Now that wall right there, you actually have to shoot open. You can't just use the open key, you have to actually shoot it. There's a couple walls in this game that are like that. One of them is in Stage 2 that you saw me do earlier. And there's another Baron of Hell right through this door. Pump a few rockets into him and he goes down. I think they take 5 rockets in this game. I think it takes 5 rockets to take him down. Maybe 6. The chain gun's also great for keeping the Cacodemons from shooting at you. Now, one thing I like about this weapon in this version is that it seems to shoot a good bit quicker than it does in other versions of Doom. Multiple berserk power-ups in a row that I didn't really need, but that's okay. Really, the best thing to do when you find those is usually to just let them sit, especially if you're playing on Nightmare mode, because if your life gets drained, when you go pick them up, your life automatically goes back to 100 health. if you're under 100 health anyways, so... You know, if you run out of all of their health packs, you can just use those Berserk power-ups as sort of last resort health increases. Of course, I'm not thinking that far ahead when I'm playing this game, like I mentioned earlier, but that's okay. Now this area here can get a little tricky. I always forget which way to go first. And there's 2 more Barons of Hell here. One on each little room. And actually have a slightly difficult time trying to take them down. I lose a good bit of health trying to do this. And again, I thought I was going to die. This is probably one of 2 areas in the game where I thought I was going to die. Or get close to dying. I'm down to 42 health right now. Oh, 32. And this is also where I start playing a little more safe. If I run into enemies like that, I just run out of the room and just leave. Other sections in the game, I'll run out of the room and just let them follow me out, rather than taking them head on. Because again, I didn't want to die, and my ammo is getting a little more scarce now. So usually in this one it just takes 1 shot for those guys. PC version of Doom, I think even Doom on Jaguar, PlayStation, they usually take up to 2 shots. They usually take 2 shots is what I meant. In this version they only take 2 shots if you miss slightly. And I think the only other version of Doom where those guys took 1 shot every time was Doom 64. I believe they took 1 shot in that game anyways. And that version of Doom was an all-new game. Pretty cool actually. If you guys haven't tried it, I recommend trying it out. If you're a fan of this series. Still uses the original Doom engine from what I can tell. But with completely beefed up graphics, lighting effects, pretty sweet version of Doom. Here's a secret here. Get the plasma gun. I think the very first version of Doom I ever played was the Super Nintendo version of Doom. Ironically, one of the worst versions of Doom was the first one I played, and I absolutely loved it when I first played it. I mean, back in 1995, it was still blew my mind. I mean, being a kid with only a Super Nintendo, not having a PlayStation or a 32X or a platform that could do 3D justice, but you know, so I played the hell out of that version of Doom, and when I first fell down into that little you know, area where I got that secret plasma gun, I didn't know I could open up the walls or open up that wall, and I thought I was stuck. And so I ended up like switching to the rocket launcher and blowing myself up to start the level over. And I didn't know any better. Now this part right here, you have to fall down into the lava and flip the switch to raise these bridges. Normally you're supposed to fall into, or go into the teleporter there, But if you're quick, you can actually walk onto the bridge as it's raising or rising. I'm not talking straight right now. That's great. But yeah, a little trick right there I like to do. Yeah, not as much to talk about in this one as there was in my Castlevania 4 long play. Because really, it's a lot of the same motions again and again in this one. You know, poke around corners, go for the shotgun guys, try to stay alive, get ammo, get to the end of the level. And especially this version, I mean, most of the levels look kind of the same because they really didn't use a whole lot of different textures. Probably due to memory constraints. So kind of because of that, things like that, it's hard to keep talking about this one as this video goes on. But I actually bust out the chainsaw here and destroy the Cacodemon with it. And actually use it a good bit more from here on out. Two more Barons of Hell. They really like to throw these guys at you. I really wish they managed to fit at least the Cyber Demon in here and give you, you know, his final or his first main boss fight. That would have been pretty sweet. Because admittedly, this game actually kind of ends on a just a random note. It's like you get to the final level, you beat it, and it's like boom, credits. And you're just like, that's it? No climactic finale or anything like that? No, just the credits. So you guys will see that when I get towards the end. There is a nifty little sort of little bonus at the end of the game that you get that you get in other versions of Doom. It's in every other version, I believe, but you get it in this one too if you beat the game straight through without cheats. I believe that door opens up right there once I walk up. I think it's open now, but I decided to just skip on it. By this point, you know, we're at the hour mark right now, or the actually 65-minute mark, just about. And I was like, man, I gotta hurry up. I've got to get through this because I really don't want to go over the 2 GB mark on this video after I compile the audio on top of it. Because if that happens, I have to lower the video quality or chop a segment. What I'll probably end up doing, if that's the case, is lowering the video quality just a little bit, because I'm thinking now that it's probably better if I just let the entire video roll as is. That way people don't think I cheated or anything like that. So, just for the sake of credibility, I'll sacrifice some video quality to get it under that 2 GB mark. Of course, I go for the more dangerous guy first. And that plan seemed to work out. Just going back trying to replenish my health before I move on. So I'm trying to be as safe as possible, just so I can manage to get through this game without dying. I normally take risks when I play this game. I'm usually pretty aggressive, but when I'm doing things like this, I try to be as safe as possible, just to kind of sort of guarantee my success. Now this level's always been kind of a pain in the ass for me. Not that it's extremely difficult, it's just kind of annoying. There's a lot of tight corridors, a lot of dark rooms, and there's one section in particular that's a little maze-like, a little bit maze-like, and it's just not the most fun, but whatever. And we're getting very close to the end of the game. In this game, even if the pinky demons are, even if they've got you cornered, if you run up to them real quick and then you back off, just a slight tiny bit, they actually probably won't hit you. And you don't even have to run up towards them. You can let them come to you, and then you can just step back just a teensy tiny bit to where you're barely moving, and they'll still miss you. So just make sure you keep moving in this game. It's once you sit still entirely, they're more likely to hit you. There's a lot of close call dodges here because I'm not using the speed button while I strafe, because the speed button's on the other side of the controller, and it's kind of hard to hit that with one finger. And again, one of the reasons I kind of take my time going around corners and things like that is because I can't strafe around corners conveniently like I can on other versions that have strafe left and strafe right keys. So you'll see me poking around corners more than you will me actually strafing around them. And that seems to work better with this control scheme. It really would have been nice if there was strafe left and strafe right commands, or at least an option for it, because the Sega Genesis had these third-party or aftermarket controllers that you could buy that would have shoulder buttons. And I believe you could map some of the face keys to the shoulder buttons, so if you wanted to use the shoulder buttons as attacks, you could. Or in this game, you could use them to strafe left and strafe right, and that would have been pretty sweet. But you're not able to do that as far as I know. This does take advantage of the 6-button pad, but you can't customize the extra three buttons, or 4 buttons technically, the X, Y, and Z, and the mode buttons. but you can customize your A, B, and C, so which is kind of strange. Oh, okay, this part right here is actually kind of tricky. You want to kill these guys first, and then just get a really powerful weapon, because you pretty much get surrounded by enemies right away. So I go for the Cacodemon first. Admittedly, this is actually a lot harder in other versions of Doom, because there are a lot more enemies that pop out. But, still, I try to be careful on this one. But, with that out of the way, I was actually about to say, the mode button in this game on the 6-button pad actually does something. It switches your weapon back to your pistol. And, occasionally throughout the game, you'll see me switching back to my pistol by accident, and it's because I keep tapping the mode button accidentally. And the thing is, I play so much 360 now, right, that I'm used to having my fingers kind of wrap around the controller, and so when I use the Sega Genesis 6-button pad now, my fingers naturally kind of wrap towards the top of it, as if I was hitting the left button and right button keys on the 360 controller. And so I sometimes accidentally tap the mode key, and I'll be in the middle of a fight and I'll switch to my pistol. Which is kind of awkward. But, so make sure you keep your finger away from the mode key on the 6-button controller. Or the official Genesis 6-button controller, where the mode key is on the top right-hand side of the controller. If you're using one of the later, like, Majesco re-release aftermarket controllers, the mode button, I think, is actually above the start button or below the start button, so you don't have to worry about it in that case. But if you're using an official Sega pad, then you want to make sure your fingers don't accidentally tap it, especially when you're in a heated battle or cornered by a bunch of Barons of Hell, which can happen, and you'll see that shortly. I've got the red key, so I can pretty much just exit at any point, but I decide to go through and just kill a few more enemies. Now this is stage 15. If you used any cheat codes, or if you skipped to any level past stage 1, this is technically the final level in the game in that case, and the game will end after this. And but since we played it all the way through, it'll go to the very final stage, which I think is stage 16. Level 17 is that first bonus level we got to. The first and only bonus level. And I picked up the invulnerability right now, so we're technically in God mode. Really doesn't last long in this one. I swear that was probably only like 20 seconds. That's shorter than other versions of Doom. Definitely shorter. There's a secret here. There we go. think it was the only level I got 100% in. But yeah, here's the secret level. Well, this is actually not technically the secret level. We already got to the hidden stage, but this is the very, very final stage. But like I said, you only get it if you beat the game straight through without cheating. And pretty much you start off and barons of hell surround you. There's not as many of them as there are in other versions, like the Jaguar version. This level's also in the Jaguar version. It's actually, I think, in every other version of Doom. At least the home versions. I don't remember at this point if it was in the PC version. Now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure it was. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've beaten the PC version of Doom, but well, not necessarily that long. Maybe it's about a year or two. I go through Doom kicks here and there, and I'll bust out the PC version again. Since I have it on Steam, I'll just load it up, it runs in DOSBox, and I'll try to roll through it as quickly as possible. Playing this version of Doom really makes me miss playing Doom with a keyboard and mouse. But yeah, like I said, this version is still fun though. I still had a good time playing this. I got a little tricky here, but I figured I could just kind of bait them to the left and then run around them. And it worked, fortunately. It would suck to get to this point and then die. Which is basically the very last stretch in the entire game. In the entire 32X game of Doom. In the Jaguar version, I actually have some pretty fond memories of playing multiplayer on this stage. To the Jaguar, you could link it up with the JagLink System Link cable. And since this is a very small stage, you were always running into your opponent. It was pretty fun. Alright guys, that is it. Credits roll. And that's the end of the game. If you watched all the way up to this point, then I salute you. This is about an hour and 20 minutes, and I honestly don't know if I could have sat through that myself. So this is actually the ending music you have in the original Doom for the PC, but the credits don't roll in the PC version. And it gives you a backdrop, which kind of scrolls, and then you got the infamous bunny on a stick impaled. Not in this version. And then id Software salutes you, just like I'm saluting you for watching all of this. But yeah, the last little bit's coming up. And yeah, that's basically it, guys. Doom for the 32X, Longplay. Hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully well, you enjoyed it. I'll just repeat myself. But yeah, on this part, if you tap any of the buttons on the controller, it'll pretty much destroy the enemies, and it just loops this over and over and over again. There's no way to exit out of this until you reset your system. So it's still pretty cool though. So yeah, if you liked what you saw, feel free to subscribe. I'll definitely be doing more long plays down the road. I'm not sure when I'm gonna do my next one because I do want to focus more on the gameplay and talk series. Try to get some other games ironed out. Maybe I'll do another long play in the next week or two, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. The next one will definitely be shorter. It'll probably be like a 10 or 15 minute, maybe 20-minute long game. And so it'll be a lot easier to sit through. But if you like what you saw, feel free to subscribe. And for all you other guys that are subscribed already, thanks for watching, as usual. I'll be back with another video very soon. And that's basically it. If you want to see any of the other versions of Doom available on home consoles, I think I've done gameplay and talks of pretty much all of them, except for the Sega Saturn version, I think. And the Xbox 360 ports, and the original Xbox port, which was on the Doom 3 Collector's Edition disc. So, but those are identical to the PC versions, so... Anyways, guys, that's basically it. So yeah, again, I appreciate you. Oh my god, I'm so tired. I appreciate you watching. I can't even say appreciate correctly. I really need to get some sleep. But alright guys, well, you take it easy.